Hello, welcome to Tarot and Oracle for the Soul. This video will be Deck of the Month, Deck of the Year Project 2025, my monthly pick of Tarot and Oracle decks. This hashtag is by Musings by Masha. I did this last month for the first time, so I thought it was pretty fun. I have been using one tarot deck and one oracle deck. So my first deck of the month was the Adventure Tarot by Elizabeth Sue. And I really enjoyed this deck, working with these cards. I really love the guidebook. The guidebook is excellent. I got pretty accurate readings. The only issue with this is the cards. The cardstock is a little bit cardboardy. I don't love it. The cards do stick together. They don't just like fan out nicely, and you can see how much they stick together. So for shuffability, I don't love this deck, but the artwork is simple, but it conveys feeling and a message, and I just love the color palette of this deck. I love the guidebook. I think they did a really good guidebook with this. So, overall, I'm pretty happy with the Adventure Tarot. The Oracle deck I paired with it was the Mystic Martian Oracle, and I've done plenty of videos and flip throughs on this deck. I love the backs of this deck. I love the gilding. I love the artwork. Like, the artwork is stunning. I don't love the guidebook. The guidebook is lacking. But if you are interested about star seeds and different alien races, then this is a good deck. I did a layout and comparing this deck with another alien deck that I have. That's by Lisa Royal Holt. I'll attach that video up here. And I found out that this deck is actually pretty accurate, but for a card a day, doing a card a day, it just didn't work for me. So I wouldn't use it for a card pull a day. If you have a specific spread that you would like to do, then I think it would work. Or if you have a specific question like what alien race would like to reach out and work with me, or what alien race do I feel most connected with, or whatever, then this will be the deck for you. But for daily draws, this isn't it. Now for week 2, I played with the Flower Power Tarot, and this deck is also on very thick cardboardy, like this is even worse than the Adventure. I absolutely love the images. The book's okay. For daily draws, it's a decent deck. I don't love how sticky it is. It's not fun shuffling. And as we know, shuffling is really where it's at for cards. The cards can't just be pretty, and the book can't just be amazing. It's got to be like the whole package. So this deck is a deck that I would only use for myself. I wouldn't use this in professional readings. A card a day, it's fine. It works. The book, like I said, is okay. The writing in here is super small. But I did connect with the deck. It's not my favorite deck, but it's not like the worst deck that I own. And I paired that with the Secrets of the Mystic Grove. Now, this is also, it's not really for like divination. This is a deck for meditation and journaling and reflecting, self-reflection. So if you want a deck for self-development and personal growth, this is the deck for you. The cardstock is really nice. These cards shuffle beautifully, but it's not really for like a card of the day unless you want to journal every day. There's not that many cards in here, but that's okay. So I think that I had purchased this used. I kind of see why the person you know, let it go, because once you're done journaling and you've gone through it, what else? I mean, I guess the questions, you can always come back to it later, right? Like, see what you need to journal on, what you need to reflect on in your life and meditate on. And these images are stunningly beautiful. I absolutely love the artwork and the vibrancy. So again, not for like divination, not for daily, but it's for self-reflection and meditation. For week 3, I paired Tarot at the End of the Rainbow, oops, with the Earth Wisdom Oracle. And Tarot at the End of the Rainbow is absolutely beautiful. I love the cardstock. The cards shuffle like a dream. They're on the glossy side and they're kind of like long and thin, which is nice. I love the backs. This deck, I got amazing readings with. They were just right on. This deck is gorgeous. It shuffles like a dream. The messages are right on. It only comes with a little white book, but that's okay. You know, that's fine. I paired that with, like I said, the Earth Wisdom Oracle, which I've been featuring this deck in multiple videos. The Earth Wisdom Oracle is amazing. I wouldn't do a card a day with this deck either. This is more like pull a card once a week or once a month. I actually recommend once a month because it gives you the flower or herb to work with, and it gives you a mantra and also a gemstone. So working with a mantra, a gemstone, and an herb to, you know, convene with those energies, absorb those energies, learn the messages, listen to the spirit of those, of that crystal and the herbs, and also assimilating the mantra into your life, you need at least 21 days. So I felt like overwhelmed pulling a card a day with this and then wanting to get that herb and the crystal and do the mantra. So what I'm going to do is, going forward, I wrote down the 7 like in a row, the 7 herbs, 7 stones, and 7 mantras. What I'm going to do is work with each one of those now going forward for 21 days each, because it takes at least 21 days to assimilate new information and energies. And so doing a card a day for that one, I don't recommend either. And then week number 4, the tarot deck that I used was the Celtic Wisdom Tarot by Caitlin Matthews. Now, it's interesting that Caitlin Matthews states that this deck is not for divination. It is more for meditation, path working, journaling. But there are some divination meanings given. But I would not use this deck for divination. I would not use this for professional readings. It's really not a deck for that. And it's really its own system. And you would really have to know your Celtic stories. Each card is a mini story. And it's really interesting. All the information she gives about Celtic religions, Celtic history is really in depth. And she is kind of like an old school, you know, this was came out in 1999. She believes that like when you're done with the cards, that you have to put them back in order and then you store them upright. But they have to be in order, and that clears the deck. That's how she views it. And then when you give a reading, you separate the cards into 7 piles, because that reflects like the 7 candles, which is like part of the Celtic tradition. And then you give it to the curant to shuffle. But like I said, I would not use this for professional readings, and I wouldn't use this deck for even daily pulls just for divination. It's a deck if you want to learn about the Celtic religion and Celtic like philosophy. It is its own system. All the major arcana have been renamed. Okay, so yeah, right here, the 7 candles of life. This is why she says to separate when you're shuffling the cards into 7 sections and then shuffle. So the wisdom cards is what she calls the major arcana. So the Fool is now the soul, the Magician is the decider, the High Priestess is the guardian, the Empress is the shaper, the Emperor is the keeper, the Hierophant is the rememberer, the Lovers is the lover, Strength is the empowerer, the Hermit is the counselor, the Wheel of Fortune is the spinner, Justice is the balancer, the Hangman the dedicator, Death the liberator, which that makes sense, right? Temperance the mingler, the Devil is the challenger, which again, that makes sense. The Tower is the changer, the Star the dreamer, the Moon the imaginer, the Sun the protector, Judgment the renewer, and the World is the perfecter. So it's pretty cool. So like, for example, the Soul, she gives the trees that it's associated with, because in Celtic spirituality, religions, trees were very important. Everything in the Celtic spirituality, everything has a soul. Trees, stones, like dirt, like everything, it has a soul. And then it has the Ogham titles / letters, which is also associated with the trees. It does give like a little divinatory meaning. So like the soul, it says upright, a new phase or fresh start, having vision or faith in oneself, opportunity, enthusiasm, playfulness, trust, a sense of protection. And then reversed, halting or hesitation, unable to heed instincts, a bad decision, sloth, irresponsibility, immaturity, and carelessness. But you see the picture here. To me, that doesn't look like the Fool. I wouldn't get that, right? Like, why is there 2 people there? It just looks like someone sleeping. I mean, it's interesting. So it doesn't make sense to me because it's based on a story. It's not archetypal energy. It's archetypal energy within a story. So you have to know the story. So it says the background of the card. The soul is seen here as a young traveler on the path of his destiny. While he sleeps, his spirit body goes forth in a dream to visit the immensities of the Celtic cosmos contained within the cauldron. The triple spiral etched in light over his head is symbolic of his physical vitality, his vocational commitment, and his intelligence. In Celtic bardic lore, these are the 3 essential receptors for all inspirational wisdom. The triple spiral also represents the totality of the spiritual path, the 3 spirals of revelation that we all tread. The soul was understood to continue after death, passing into different shapes or life forms upon its circuit of births. The soul could enter into animal, plant, and elemental shapes, not just human ones. Birch and yew are the first and last trees in the Ogham families, the youngest and the oldest trees. And then it says soul wisdom, and this is kind of like a journal prompt. Having respect for our soul's purpose may look like foolishness to others. The power and vision of our soul can only empower us when we acknowledge and manifest them. What is calling you to seek wisdom now? Now, I've only read like the first part where she talks about the trees and the alphabet and then the like 7 candles and how to, she wants you to store and respect the cards. I haven't read the back. We have Divining Our Destiny. We have Quests and Questions. And it says guidelines for framing questions. So it even, she goes into like major depth. There are some spreads in the back. We have the 3 illuminations spread, the Soul Protector spread, the 5 Streams of the Senses spread, the Co-Walker spread, the Weaver's Celtic Cross spread. Now, I haven't tried any of these. I do need to still try. This, like I said, is a totally, its old system. And you really have to know the Celtic, stories. So I didn't get that that was a person dreaming and that their soul body by looking at that card. I wouldn't know that. So I feel like this deck would take a lot of practice with yourself before you try to give readings to anyone else. And I do find it interesting that she says that it's not for divination, but then there's divinatory meanings given. And I feel like that's kind of like an afterthought. I feel like Caitlin Matthews did not want that in the book. I feel like the publishers maybe added that. I mean, I could be wrong. Also, I don't like how in our tradition cards are all really big like this. They're so big. It's really almost like uncomfortable to shuffle like this. They are just so big. I mean, I can shuffle, but it's not fun. So because it's its own system, they're so big to shuffle. It's probably why it sat in my tarot collection for almost 20 years, and I haven't really done much with it. Like, I'm always like, oh, I want to read the book, because I do like the Celtic wisdom, like the philosophy, the spirituality. I do like learning about the Celtic religion, and it's, the triple spiral I'm really like drawn to. But again, it comes down to shuffleability, and it comes down to, can I use the cards? Are they practical? And that is not, I mean, I am your typical Gemini. I want to be able to just jump right in and use a deck. And I don't want to have to be like too fussy with like reading the whole book before I use the deck. Like, I want to be able to base the cards off the Rider-Waite-Smith or the Thoth and my own, interpretations, and just go, right? I don't want to have to like research and understand a whole spirituality, a whole religion before I get started. Now, I paired that with the Shaman's Dream Oracle by Alberto and Colette Baron-Reid. So these cards are also very big, also very cardboardy. They're very wide. They're fine, they're not too sticky. They do, shuffle like okay, right? The book's okay. It's okay for a daily draw. So like, let's say I pull card number 12, Dragon's Hoard. I'll just read it to you. Protecting the future, legacy, true riches. In the Dragon's Hoard, jewels and precious objects scatter the ground, while ancient scrolls inscribed with the wisdom teachings lie within reach. So it talks about the card, and you know what? I don't want to read the whole thing. There's a lot of questions throughout. So it just like says, I'm going to skip. The dragon guards the legacy of the future. All who come empty-handed or to fill only their own pockets with gold lie in a dusty heap of bones. You have been allowed entrance by virtue of your kindness or your spiritual practice or sheer luck. Consider as well that your present, this moment, is the future to the dragon. You may be the one we have all been waiting for, so do not hesitate to take what bequest has been reserved for you since the beginning of time. This is the time to be bold. Do not delay or overthink. Remember to bring an offering for the dragon, lest it believe you are its lunch. A simple prayer will do. I don't love it. I don't love this deck. To me, I feel like, again, it's maybe more for meditation and journaling, not so much divination. Cardstock is really big. It didn't really connect. I didn't really connect with it. So, due to shuffleability, my tarot of the month is Tarot at the End of the Rainbow. Dun dun dun. Surprise? Probably not. I was torn between this and the Adventure Tarot, but this is a close second, a close runner-up. I did really enjoy playing with this deck. I enjoyed the guidebook. I enjoyed the art, the simplicity of it, but yet it still conveyed emotion. And I did have a connection to it. I did like that deck, but just based on ease of shuffleability and the pictures, the artwork, it has to be Tarot at the End of the Rainbow. That is my tarot pick. And can y'all guess which my oracle pick of the month is? It's probably no surprise. It's definitely going to be the Earth Wisdom Oracle. So even though it's only 32 cards, and even though it's not for divinatory, I thought that every day that I did pull a card, it was right on. And I was like, yeah, I do need this energy today. Yes, this is a really good mantra. I could really use that. The cards are beautiful. The descriptions are short, concise, to the point. I don't like wordy, right? As we could tell them in Gemini, like get to the point, be concise, give me the information I need. Like I don't need a whole story, which is funny because my husband tells me I don't need a whole story to me. You know, he says I'm a little too wordy. Uh, so, you know, some of these decks, like the Shaman's Dream, maybe could have used an edit. It's like we don't need all that information. Just ask the questions. Like let's just get to it. And is there a divinatory meaning? Just list it. And I know that it seems kind of contradictory because some of the things like the Mystic Martian deck, I wanted more. I guess it's just the information given. Is it necessary? Is it needed? Will it help with a divinatory meaning? Will it help with journaling? Will it help with understanding what I need to understand? If no, I don't need it. But if yes, then I do need it. So it's just the information provided to me in the Shaman's Dream Oracle felt unnecessary, too extra. You know, I think the Secrets of the Mystic Grove is more concise and to the point. I mean, they give you one page about the card and then it gives you just the journal prompts, like in bullet points. That's all we need. Don't ask multiple questions within like 5 paragraphs. Like, that's too much. Give me like 3 prompts and then let me write. That was my wrap up of the month of March for all the tarot and oracle decks I used. And I'll see you next month. Thanks for watching. Keep on shuffling. Bye.